on. Finally got my dad back. Liver bad, he wouldn't live long. And snatched my dad back. Guidance, I never had that. Streets was my second home. Welcomed me with open arms. Provided a place to crash at. A place to study math fact, I learned it all. Learned it all. This music is where.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Justin with LetYourBrainRoot.com, and we have another episode of the Technique is King podcast. And Jordan and I discuss nutrition and diet related to Jiu-Jitsu. All this is based on just our own personal experiences. I've personally lost 100 pounds in the past, and Jordan actually recently has gained about 20-something pounds more recently. So we discuss that, and we just go over different things we like to do with our diet and mentality towards diet. Make sure to go to iTunes, rate, review, and subscribe. Leave a comment if you are so inclined to, and we really appreciate it. Also, shoot any suggestions for episodes or guests if you can help us out at letyourbrainroot@gmail.com. All right, have a good day.
But hustle hard in any hustle that you pick. Skinny nigga toothpick, but I do lift weight like I'm using roids, roids keep my movements smooth while maneuvering. Do all of maneuver in the sewer that I grew up in. Choices we made trying to escape. And I don't need no hook for this shit. This is not for commercial usage. Please don't categorize this as music. Please don't compare me to other rappers. Compare me to trappers. I'm more Frank Lucas than Ludas. And Ludas my dude. I ain't trying to diss. Like Frank Lucas is cool, but I ain't trying to snitch. I'ma follow the rules no matter how much time I'm.
All right, guys, this is Justin with LetYourBrainRoot.com and the Technique is King podcast, and today we're going to talk about nutrition. And of course, we have our beautiful co-host with us today, Jordan.
Hey guys, how you doing? We're back again.
So let's get started. We're going to talk about, like I said, nutrition. Jordan and I have both come from kind of different ends of the spectrum. I was extremely overweight at one point, weighing almost, or actually over 300, or the most I ever weighed was 298. And Jordan, you were always a skinny fella. You were, how much well, first of all, you're like 6 foot tall.
Yeah, 6 foot, 6'1" now. And then whenever I started training, I used to compete at feather, so that was 154.5, but my weight would usually be 147, 145. At one point, I was thinking about making a run to light feather at 6 foot tall, but I tried to even change my diet even more, and there was no way I was going to get down to that.
I remember when I first met you and you first started training, like, you were super skinny, man. And like, even I remember one time I was like drilling daily or like worm guard on you, and you're like, ow, it hurts. Like, you were just like fragile, I guess, right?
Yeah, for sure. Whenever you're that small on your frame, and it's like you have no cushion. Yeah, you're totally. It does hurt. It does hurt more.
I wonder what your body fat percentage was, because now it's like, what, 6%? Last time we had it checked.
Yeah, last time we had it checked it was 6.
You had to be like deathly low.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Could you get boners and stuff like that?
It was harder. Like whenever I would get done from training, the first thing I'd do when I'd get back to my apartment is I'd take off all my clothes. I'd get butt naked, and I'd lay down on the bed like Jesus on the cross, and I'd just go, like, you know, that tendonitis feeling on your elbows and everything, and like from your grips, that I would just let that dissolve for like 15-20 minutes, and then I'd hop in the shower and like put my head on the wall in the shower and just like soak in hot water for 15 minutes. It hurts so bad.
So you've been skinny all your life, pretty much.
Yeah, at one point in high school, I was this height and 135.
That's crazy.
So I was super skinny, and like even when I was in the military, I'd still 150-ish, and I would always try to work out and stuff, but there was no real motivation to, do it. It was just like, oh, people go to the gym to get big. So it was like, we would do things like go there and then do curls, and I would try to jump in like 100% and work out like 5 days a week,
Yeah.
doing like, bro workouts, bench press, curls, and like just ridiculous stuff. Different like
Hold on, bench press is not ridiculous, and curls are for the
curls
girls.
are essential.
Yeah,
but I would just do all those aesthetic exercises in tons of variations of them, and then I did a lot of pull-ups and stuff. You know, like I was telling you, I was freaking addicted to watching rock climbing videos, so I thought I wanted to do that. So I would just burn out my forearms all day.
So what do you weigh now?
The last time I looked, it was between 170, 175.
So what was your diet like when you were at your lightest? Like, run us through a day of kind of what you ate, if you can remember.
Before I started doing the jiu-jitsu, I was on a kick where I would just eat nothing but rice. I'd cook rice in a rice cooker, and I'd put it on a big plate, and I'd eat a whole plate of rice with sriracha on it. And then I'd usually have zucchini or squash. I'd make a chicken and vegetable curry sometimes.
But you didn't eat much protein, right?
No. Well, whenever I moved to Nashville and started doing jiu-jitsu again, my diet was kind of veganish. I ate a lot of I'd eat tofu. I'd eat meat maybe one time a week, and that wouldn't necessarily be red meat, but I would eat meat maybe once. Most of the times it'd be spinach salads or 50-50 mix salads, and I'd eat sweet potatoes a good bit, broccoli a lot, stuff like that.
Was there any rhyme or reason to how you ate, or like your nutrition choices, or you just?
I think.
And first of all, that's pretty crazy that you were just eating like a bunch of rice and you were that skinny.
Yeah. The rice, I don't know. I was just kind of lazy whenever I lived up north and was just eating rice. But here it was kind of, I think everyone goes through this phase in like jiu-jitsu. They'll want to get lighter and try to do the lightest possible weight class that they can. And then two, like I think I'm at this stage now where you just want to move up in weight classes. And I think you just got to play with it and figure out where you want to be at, I guess then I thought that I felt good not eating the meat, like slow or anything, but I had never, contrasted it by eating the meat and seeing how I felt, for a couple of months or anything like that. And then I kind of just said, whatever, I'll just eat what I want. But
you were probably not eating a bunch of meat, and then your body wasn't used to it. So when you would eat meat, you're like, oh, I feel like crap. I can't digest it. But really, it's just because your body wasn't used to it. Yeah.
And I think I still drink a fair amount of booze then too.
So you gain, I'm trying to put a timeline on it, but you guys you competed at featherweight at Long Beach, right? And that was in like December or like November a year ago.
What, the Pans? Or wait, Long Beach? I didn't. No, that was a.
You didn't compete?
We went to the Jiu-Jitsu Expo.
Okay.
But what?
Atlanta,
New York.
Maybe. Oh, and you did Boston too, right?
That was the first one I ever did, but that was almost 2 years ago.
I was just trying to put a timeline. So since you started doing weight training and all that stuff with David Ray at Resilient Strength with me and Felix, and you've probably put on
20 to 25 pounds
since then. What did you change diet wise to put on weight?
Recently, well, not recently, but whenever we first started at David's, I kind of maintained the same diet, as far as just trying to eat as many greens as I can and stuff like that.
But at that time too, we weren't doing a lot of strength training. We were going through a gymnastics program, and for a while too, you would only do cardio. You weren't even doing a lot.
Yeah.
I finally convinced you to do our manly workout.
Yeah, and it was worth it. And then the way I tweaked the diet was I started implementing more meat because I did want to move up to the weight class. I wanted to move up to the 168, which I did that the last time I competed was that Atlanta, and I did it at 168. So I wanted to stay there and then go up one more. And then I eat more meat now. I eat meat almost every day. I'll eat chicken or turkey. I usually eat a lot of steak too. Like probably 3 to 5 times a week I'll eat steak. I eat just meat pretty much with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the key. Especially if you want to get bigger, the key is definitely just to eat as much food as you can. I know for me it's hard, and probably for a lot of people listening, it's hard to even find enough time to eat that much food, because like
it takes prep and commitment. And I think a lot of people have this assumption that, oh, I can't gain weight, I have a fast metabolism, but actually that's not true. They just simply aren't eating enough food.
Yeah, that's not true, because I used to think the same way. Like when I told you I was in the military and I'd lift weights, I'm like, oh man, I'm not getting big. But it's like I'd lift weights for 2 months, 3 months, and I'd be using a protein supplement when I'm not even getting enough protein from my diet, you know?
Right. So how has your body felt in recovery and training and stuff since you've put on that weight?
It feels a lot better. The pain, as far as going home and laying down like that, I don't have to do that. And the red meat helps with recovery like crazy. Like I won't be near as sore after a regular workout or jiu-jitsu from the red meat. It makes you feel really good.
So protein, the stuff that rebuilds muscle and broken down muscle tissue, happens to make you recover.
Yeah, and it's just weird though, because you'll see some of those like vegan fighters and stuff on YouTube, and I don't know how they do it. They must use a supplement or something. But even when I was light and I was using a protein supplement or BCAAs and glutamine to try to help that recovery and like muscle pain and stuff like that, it didn't do anything.
As far as like injuries and stuff like that, do you think putting on mass, like almost putting on like more armor to your body, has helped?
Yeah.
Like getting banged up and stuff? Yeah,
I think so. The little tweaks definitely aren't as noticeable. You don't have that near as much. But I think one thing I don't know, I don't necessarily want to do it, but this is just a belief. So this is like a bro science thing. I feel like if you, like you said, like I'm at 6% body fat right now. I feel like people that are probably at 10 or around 10 or 11 probably feel a lot better than I do, because they have that cushion in between.
They say for athletes, the actual like ideal body fat percentage for just general health and your hormones and all that stuff is like 9 to probably even 12 to 14% for males.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Like, I mean, sometimes I still will feel banged up. It'll be different. It's painful, but it's there as far as, I can tell.
Has your game changed at all since putting on weight, you think? Or did you even have much of a game really when you were
I didn't really
skinny?
have that much of a game whenever I was really skinny. I was like in the middle of being a white belt, but I don't know, it was weird. I was like, 140 pounds, and I would do pressure passes and stuff all the time. It was really goofy. I don't know. I never tried to Toriando or anything like that when I was little. And then I don't know. I play like a medium guys game, spider and stuff, and single X, some De La Hiva stuff. I feel like it only affects you if you're so big you can't move fast. And I feel like the weight I'm at, I'm as fast as I want to be, and I'm not hindered. Like I don't feel slow. I don't feel like the guy's small. Well, Joey, he's just really fast though and super athletic. But like other people that are smaller, they don't totally blow by me. It's not I can't. It's not like I can't hang with their speed or something.
Shout out to Not Your Average Joe, BJJ on Instagram.
Yeah, looking ripped like Hoffa Mendez in the photos.
Good luck at Nogi Worlds next week. So you're one of the cleanest eaters I think that I train with, that people we train with that I know, and you're not even. It's not even like your career, or you're not a. Competition isn't your main focus or anything like that, but what's your diet like these days? Run us through a typical day of what you eat.
Yeah. First, let's talk about like all these people subscribe to these diets. Like you got to do it this way, you got to do it that way. I don't think there is a legit way. You got to see what works for you and all that stuff. I'm a big believer in the eat food, and then like I don't think there's any reason to use a protein shake unless that, because you can get it from food,
right?
And that's one thing that I heard that steroid dude, what's his name, Rich Pina.
Oh, Rich Pina, yeah.
Yeah, he was talking about that. He's like, these guys, they don't use protein powder. They endorse protein powder, but they don't use that stuff. They eat real food, and I think that's the best way.
I heard the same thing.
Yeah, is to get real food, and I think you just have to balance the real food that you do eat. So if you're eating a lot of meat, you need to be eating a lot of things like broccolis and lettuce and stuff like that to be able to digest the food, or to be able to, shit it out. Because it'll feel weird if you don't. I forgot what I was going. What were we talking about?
I asked what your diet's like today. Like, what do you eat on the reg?
I just try to make sure that everything I eat that I cook, basically, and I try to buy as little stuff from a box as possible. What I buy from a box will be like hemp granola or my breakfast grains or whatever. That comes from a box. I eat that. Well, I'll just run you through like my day.
Yeah, that's what I asked you to do.
Sorry, Justin. In the morning, I'll wake up. I'll have a big cup of coffee with coconut oil and butter in it, and then I'll have probably 2.5 servings worth of hemp granola or some kind of just regular granola, or flakes that have chia seeds and flax seeds and stuff like that in it. I used to not use any kind of almond milk or anything like that, but I do occasionally now. And then I eat probably 4 or 5 servings of peanut butter or almond butter with it, and then I always make sure I have fruit, either cantaloupe or I eat a lot of cantaloupe. That's basically it, or pineapple, oranges.
Yeah, you eat a decent amount of carbs in the morning, which is interesting because, there is people say to do that and stuff, but I never do, and I don't know. I'm just under these. I always say it'll make me feel tired throughout the day, but it's like the thing with meat. I don't think I've ever tried it to where I would actually know.
Yeah,
honestly.
I've never had any issues getting tired throughout the day with eating carbs in the morning. It's so little. It's just, like I said, 2.5 servings of granola or whatever. But one thing I feel like that makes you feel better is I'll wake up. I don't have to leave my house until 8, but I wake up at 6:30. I drink some water while I'm making my coffee. I get my engine running. Then I eat my food. And then I dick around and, watch some YouTube videos or do some schoolwork or something. And then I leave. So that way, a lot of people in America, they go to sleep at whatever, midnight or whatever, wake up at 6, take a shower, throw their clothes on, grab a honey bun, and then run out the door. You're not going to be able to have a nutritious life, or not, be able to get the nutrition you want to doing it like that. You have to be committed to not going out during the week or whatever and stuff like that. And then for lunch, I'll usually have some sort of salad with probably chicken in it. I'll have a snack. It'll be nuts or something like that, or, just something basic. And then dinner, I'll have a steak with, I don't know. I've been eating a lot of cheese lately, so I'll eat cheese and stuff like that. But like I said, I just try to cook it all. That's basically it.
Dude, I cut cheese out of my diet for a long time for whatever reason, because I was like, oh, it's bad for you because it comes, I don't know. I cut milk out for a while too, but cheese is fucking awesome.
Dude, cheese is like my candy.
I love it. It's good. It's got good fats. Good, it's not bad for you. Get the whole milk cheese, not this 2% fat bullshit. The fat is what helps you digest it.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just
bro science.
Yeah, I feel like it's just a solid form of kombucha because it's got enzyme cultures in it and stuff, and from making the cheese. So I feel like it might actually just be, a version of that kind of.
It's got protein, carbs, and fat. It's all the stuff you need.
Yeah.
And then for dinner, did you talk about what you?
Yeah, usually just some kind of. Usually, if we train or something, like the days that we go do strength and conditioning, I usually have a steak on those days, a big ass 1 pound steak or something, and then I'll usually make a salad that's 2 scooping handfuls. I don't skimp on it.
What do you put dressing on there?
Yeah, like I said, if I do buy the dressing, I usually try to buy something that's made from natural ingredients. I read labels and I make sure that everything is a natural ingredient or whatever. And we were talking about this the other day that a lot of people don't know. If you look at an ingredient package on the back, if you look at a food package on the back, it's got the ingredients listed. The first ingredient listed on the package is the one that is the highest percentage of the ingredients that make up the product. So it goes in descending order. So the first one is the highest percentage and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's something I knew. Like when I first got on the journey of losing weight, that's the first thing I did was like, all right, I'm just going to look at the ingredients, and I just cut out anything with hydrogenated oils and anything with high fructose corn syrup or just corn syrup.
Yeah.
That whole thing too pisses me off. Like high fructose corn syrup and corn syrup is like, you shouldn't have both. Like both of them are bad. But like that was the first thing that I started to do to lose weight, and I lost a bunch of weight by just looking at that crap.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest thing anybody that wants to lose weight or just feel better is just drinking water. Like I don't drink soda.
Yeah, that's another thing. So let's talk about hydration. We, me, you, and Felix, we always are walking around with some sort of water jug and stuff. I think a good portion of our, I would say majority of the American population does not drink enough water throughout the day. Like there's even people that train. Like I see these people train, and I don't see them drink water at all, and I don't get it. And then they complain about being tired and stuff like that. Like it's because you're dehydrated.
Yeah,
I think majority of people are walking around dehydrated.
They have to be, and it's probably the majority of the cause is people in America are so used to wanting things to taste good that even when they drink water, they add Crystal Light or Mio Energy or something like that to their water. But there's nothing that's better than just water.
Water tastes fucking great. If you like say cold water, whatever, warm water, whatever, like after training and stuff, the first thing I want to do is chug water. Yeah. I love it.
What's hilarious is I'll enjoy a Coke from every now and then. I mean, I'll have a soda sometimes. It's no big deal. And I drink beer pretty regularly. I'll have a couple beers on the weekend. But one thing that it's
got water in it.
Yeah, it does have water. It's made with water. One thing that I do find hilarious is, like you said, after I get done training sometimes, I usually just drink room temperature water, and then sometimes I'll go home and I'll put ice cubes in it, and it'll be cold, and it's like being reborn. Like
it's so refreshing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I drink probably 1 gallon to 2 gallons of water a day, depending on the day. I think if you're an active person, you're sweating and stuff. I sweat like a machine. I don't know if machines sweat, but you gotta drink water. You gotta drink a lot of it. It'll give you a lot of energy. You'll lose weight from just drinking a lot of water. Your body doesn't function when you're dehydrated, and a lot of times you can get hurt when you're dehydrated. Straining muscles and different things a lot of times can happen when you're dehydrated.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Justin is the human water fountain.
Yeah,
this guy, he's like a sprinkler. Whenever we're at the gym, it's just all over. It's pretty disgusting. When he'll get done doing dips on the bar or whatever, and his hands will be sweating so bad it's like an oil slick on the bar.
Like at a certain point, I can't even put chalk on my hands because of it's just all moisture. Like the chalk won't even pick it up. But as David says, I have an efficient cooling system. I wonder what that is. Why I sweat so much.
Is it from being big? You think that it just keeps carrying?
Because I used to sweat. I mean, like. When I was fat, I would get out of the shower and put clothes on and be sweating, like just sweat.
Is that just the thing when you have more body fat that you just sweat like that?
Yeah, because your body's hotter, I think.
Yeah,
for sure.
Huh?
Because like another weird thing is like cold temperature used to never bother me when I was big. I could wear shorts in the winter, it'd be fine. But now I get freezing cold like real easy.
Yeah, like today when we're having a snack at Whole Foods.
Yeah, for sure. It does. Yeah. And another thing to get your electrolytes, because you can't just be drinking water all day. Your body needs electrolytes. It's what plants crave. You need that stuff. So I do drink Gatorade or sugar-free Gatorades a lot of times. I'm not afraid of a little bit of sugar, especially after training. But I enjoy coconut water if I can afford it. But coconut water is pretty expensive compared to something like Powerade or Gatorade.
Yeah, coconut water is good. I'd suggest that. It is that's another thing that'll make you just feel amazing after you do a hard workout or something. You can just get a little bottle or something, drink that. That sugar does feel really nice. It's something besides soda.
Yeah.
That's like the main thing. I'll have a kombucha or whatever. That'll taste like a soda, or like you said, coconut water, stuff like that. Just as long as you're not drinking soda. Do you think that's one of the big, I know, I remember you saying you would drink like a 12-pack of soda a day, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel like that was what helped you lose the most weight, was just cutting out soda?
Yeah, I mean, at one point, that was kind of the only thing I cut out. Like, I didn't have a soda for, I think, 6 months to a year. I mean, there was a good period of, like, probably 3 years where I maybe had, like, 2 or 3 sodas. And, yeah, for sure, it made me lose weight. And so here's the thing, too, is when you're drinking a lot of soda, everything... you're so used to that super sweetness that like you said, like water, people think it tastes bad and they need these good flavors. But when I stopped drinking soda, when I would eat a banana, it was like super sweet and stuff, like now I don't eat candy or anything really. And, I'll eat fruit and it's just like, it's almost too sweet to a certain extent. And my taste buds aren't, acquired to that sugariness. So I don't know where I was going with that, but basically when you're used to drinking these super sweet things like fruit and stuff, or like you may have some something that's pretty sweet, or like some juice, and you're like, oh, this is kind of bitter. But once you get rid of drinking all that sugary stuff and then you drink that juice, it's like, oh, this is perfect. It's good.
It was when you were losing all that weight, did you start like cold turkey, or did you just gradually subtract things? Did you like start with soda?
Gradually. So like, I think I saw Food Inc. and then that made me like start cutting certain things out of my diet and just looking at the ingredients and cooking more food as opposed to eating stuff from, like you said, from boxes, like pre-made food and stuff like that. I lost probably 20 or 30, or probably 30 or 40 pounds over 6 months just watching what I was eating and stuff. And I was still eating, not that healthy, but just cutting out. High fructose corn syrup was a big thing, and hydrogenated oils. And then...
What did you eat that had hydrogenated oil in it? Desserts and...
Dude, a lot of stuff has that.
Vegetable oil?
If you go get a can of refried beans, if you don't get the vegetarian refried beans, it has partially hydrogenated oils.
You buy cans of refried beans?
So, okay, here's the thing. So I lost some weight by just gradually doing some stuff, and then I was about like 240 or 250, and that's when I... went on a hardcore diet. I went on a slow carb diet is what it was called, made popular by Tim Ferriss. And what a lot of the meals consist of is some sort of bean or legume and protein and some fats.
Is that how you say that word? I'm not sure. Is it legume or legume or something?
No, I think it's legumes.
Legum?
I think it's legumes.
Just checking. I don't know.
I think so.
I know what word you're talking about, but I didn't know.
I think it's legumes, which is just beans and stuff. But so a standard meal, what I ate all the time, like for breakfast, I would cook some eggs and I would eat some sort of protein. Like I'd make some kielbasa sausage. I love that with eggs and refried beans. So that's why I was eating
that was breakfast? You'd eat refried beans with breakfast? That's weird.
Because it's a carb source with fiber and stuff. And it's got fat and stuff, but I ate refried beans probably 2 or 3 times a day. But yeah, so then I was like 250 when I got on that slow carb diet, and I lost 50 pounds in like 3 months. I lost weight real quick. But one thing I didn't do was eat vegetables. Like I would eat avocados and guacamole and stuff, but I wouldn't eat like fibrous vegetables, and my bowel movements it was horrible. It was like I would be constipated a lot. Yeah. And so don't make that face.
What? Just kind of like,
yeah. No, but so if any advice, eat your vegetables. So now I don't like broccoli and stuff like that. Like I'll eat it occasionally. How I get my vegetables is either a salad or a smoothie with spinach in it.
Yeah.
Because vegetables, I always had to suffer through eating them. Like I would eat them first before my meal and then eat the meal because it was like a...
What, you just don't like the way green stuff tastes, or?
Yeah, I don't know.
But you don't like salad dressings? Do you use salad dressing?
Oh, I use salad dressing.
What do you use?
So here's, I actually have a story from yesterday. For salad dressing, I look at the ingredients. Most salad dressings are going to have sugar. Even like the Newman's Own salad dressing, it has sugar in it. But yesterday I was looking for, I like honey mustard, I like ranch, stuff like that. Yeah. I don't use a whole lot of it, but I do like it. And I don't think it's that big of a deal if you use a little bit of that stuff, if you're training.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I was looking at honey mustard yesterday, and I found one that looked good, and I looked at it, it had high fructose corn syrup, and I found another one that just had sugar. And then a lady came up to me at the store and was like, hey, I know I'm nosy, but you use this stuff, it's way better. This is what they serve at O'Charlie's. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. But that was the one with the high fructose corn syrup. And I didn't want to get in the conversation with her. So she walked away, and then I just put that one back, even though she recommended it taste better, just because the high fructose corn syrup.
Was she work there?
No, it's just older lady. She said, she's like, sorry, I'm nosy, but I'm a mom and whatever. Maybe she was hitting on me.
I don't know. Maybe
she wasn't.
What's her weight looking like?
She was happy. There you go. Yeah.
She goes to O'Charlie's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I use condiments and stuff. Like I like ketchup. I eat ketchup on my eggs a lot because I can't. If I'm eating a lot of eggs, it just gets so fucking boring and gross that that stuff, it's like not a big deal. If it's got a little bit of sugar in it, as long as you're not eating sugary things throughout the day, a little bit of sugar in your condiments isn't a big deal, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't either.
We're not bodybuilders. We don't need to fucking pay attention to that little small detail.
I think that's probably what hurts a lot of people is they'll start looking at their diet and they'll be like, oh, I need to separate macronutrients from micronutrients, and I need to make sure that I get 0.8 of my body fat of my protein intake, and I need to make sure that I do this, and I can't have this now, and I can't have that now. Instead of just like you said, how you lost the weight, and this is how I even started having a healthier diet, was just, oh, I've heard that this is good for you. Let me look this up. And then I'll look it up, and then I'll be like, okay. And then I'll try it. And then if I like it, I'll add it in. And I add little things in instead of worrying about not having anything. And it's the same with, I'll make a comparison to drugs. It's the same way. Like that guy on Rogan was saying, obviously,
G-O-D.
Yeah, obviously we love Rogan, but he was talking about, they tell these addicts, and people are food addicts, obviously, too, that they can't have the drugs at all, or you can't have any substance, any soda at all. But then once they have one soda, they think that they're back on the wagon, and you know, instead of just being like, oh, I had a soda, big deal. They're just like, oh, I ruined my diet. Like, oh, I might as well go get a huge bag of chips and like this and that.
So that would happen to me. Like part of the slow carb diet was you get one all out day, do whatever you want, all out. But my problem and it worked for a while. But then, so like Friday would come around, I'd go all out, and then the weekend would come, like Saturday would come, I'd eat pretty healthy through the day, and then I'd be like, okay, well, I cheated yesterday, I can have one more cheat meal, and then once I had that cheat meal, I was like, well, I've already given up on, so might as well fucking get some Snickers and donuts, or you know what I mean? That's a good point. It kind of, if you can separate that and just say, oh, I had one treat, that doesn't mean I need to go all out. But I'm definitely have that addict mentality, so I can relate.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, like I said, I still like to drink beer, or I'll have beers every once in a while, but I don't drink them every day. And I used to drink 12, but now I'll drink 1 to 3. Yeah. And, it's the same thing. It's, I don't know, it's just tough. Whenever you got to find something to like occupy yourself that's like healthy for you, instead of getting into like patterns of bad habits.
With drinking, for me, the big thing is like I always think, oh, like if I can't just have one beer, I like to have like 4 or 5, get a good buzz going. But I always make that decision. Am I going to drink? Well, I have to train tomorrow. I got to wake up. I have to work out or whatever. And that I don't drink hardly at all because of that, because I have to do that, the thing I'm more committed to the next day. So it's like it outweighs the
Yeah, I do that a lot too. I feel like, especially, well, I go to school too, so I'll feel like that for like the next morning, like, I don't want to feel like crap tomorrow. But even training, like you said, I'd rather feel good from training than like drink 6 beers and feel like shit the next day.
Yeah.
You know, it feels so good just to train with your buddies and laugh and stuff and like have a good time and, you know, work your brain, learning some techniques and stuff. Maybe a lot of people just don't have a support system like that to encourage them to like keep going. Like if we're slipping up and we're not even slipping up, but like if you're eating something like moderately unhealthy, we'll be like, oh, just giving each other shit for it. You know, like I got a quesadilla today at the Whole Foods and you're like, yeah, we're about to do the podcast on nutrition. You're eating a quesadilla over here. So,
but yeah. Let's talk cheat days and cheat meals. How often do you like to treat yourself? Or do you even look at it like a set thing? Or do you just, when the opportunity comes, you say, oh, okay, I'm going to have a piece of cake or a fucking cheeseburger or whatever?
I used to do the cheat meal that way, like going out or something and like having something that's just really shitty that someone else made or something like that. But then I shifted it to where, like Mike Dolce says, like during the week, he might have like 1 grass-fed burger, but on his cheat day, he'll have 4. Like I'll do stuff like that. Just eat more of like good food. Yeah, just eat a lot of it. Like that's what I like last night. It wasn't even a cheat meal, but I had 2 1/3 pound burgers with some barbecue sauce and like a half a plate of sweet potato fries, and then I ate a fucking huge salad. So I mean, was I stuffed? Yeah. Do I feel guilty about it? Not really. Yeah. I mean, I feel fine from eating it. Like I don't feel like I ruined my diet or anything from eating it. But I don't think there's any problem with like I said, if you do. Like we went to Miami and we went to Taco Bell and stuff, but it's not like you can't, there's no point in beating yourself up about it. It's like, oh, I had Taco Bell. Like that was fun. Like, okay, let me get back to what I was doing, you know?
Yeah. And I know Mike Dolce, he calls them earned meals instead of cheat meals, you know?
Yeah.
You earn them rather opposed to you're cheating on whatever. It's just more of a psychology thing.
That's good.
I always plan on like Friday or Saturday or sometimes Friday and Saturday. For dinner, I usually have some sort of cheat thing where, whatever, I'll eat pizza or fast food, or maybe I'll make something a little naughty, you know what I'm saying? But
what's that? What, cake or something?
No, I don't know.
I want some naughty treats. What do we?
But also, like, if something happens where like there's a get together and there's going to be a bunch of chips and cheese dip and stuff like that. Like I just treat it as like, okay, have fun, you know, do whatever you got to do. You don't have to go overboard. Just eat some bats. It's not even bad, but eat some stuff and have fun as opposed to like, oh no, I can't eat that. And then, cause then you'll be miserable the whole time being around all that food.
Yeah.
At least I know I will.
Yeah, and then you come off like a D-bag to everyone there because they're like, oh, you can't eat the chips, son. You can't eat the chips. Oh, too bad I don't have a salad for you, buddy. But, I mean, there is that, too. You do get pressured by a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Like, especially people that don't eat well will give you crap for trying to eat well or whatever. Especially if it's the middle of the week or something. Like, I don't want to make a Happy Meal right now or whatever. No, it's just goofy.
Yeah, that's oftentimes the people who give you crap are the people who are unhealthy and they're just trying to justify what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and name drop again. Mike Dolce, it's got a chapter in his book that's called Crabs in the Pot. And that's exactly so. The reference is if you're going to cook some crabs and you got the boiling water, you throw all the crabs in the pot and you're the crab that's getting out of the pot and you're at the top. The ones that are boiling in the bottom are grabbing at you to pull you back into the pot.
You mean they're crabbing at you to put you back in the pot?
Yeah, they're crabbing. It's a good one.
Yeah. So I don't like Mike Dolce.
Why?
I don't know. He's just kind of too much.
What? He's real intense about his diet?
Yeah.
I'm not defending him. I'm just saying. I've just read his book.
He's got some good principles and stuff. The whole thing about eating earth-grown nutrients. Here's another tip at the grocery store. If you're trying to eat healthy, stay out of the aisles and eat the things on the outside of the aisles. Like that's oftentimes the real food. Like I rarely find myself going through aisles to get food. The only times I do is to get things like salad dressing or like coffee, stuff like that. But I don't go into the aisles for food because that's where the cereal, all the treats, candy, all that stuff is.
Yeah, I'm the same way. That's exactly what I do.
Another tip I have, if you tend to drink beer at night or Coke and you like carbonated things at night, a big thing I did when I was dieting was for dinner I would drink Perrier with like lemon and lime.
Fancy.
Yeah. But it got my carbonation kick that I wanted, and it's not bad for you. So it's a little tidbit.
Do you ever get those days where you're just sitting there and you'll have it's weird. It's weird to explain it just by like these words, but a sugar craving, you know what I'm talking about, where you'll just like feel that like in your body that you like want to eat some candy or something like that.
I get that with greasy food. Like I'm just craving like some fries and stuff. And oftentimes you really are craving that, but you're not, or you're craving something, but you're not craving that specific food. Really, I think that's your body telling you need more fats and things like people. Yeah. So here's the thing about fats is, in the 80s and stuff, everything was low fat, this whole low fat thing, because people assumed if you eat fat, you get fat. It's not true. Fats are great for you. Your brain is made of fat. Your hormones and all that stuff is regulated through, good, healthy fats, things like butter and grass-fed butter rather. And that stuff. So when I start to crave fatty, greasy foods, oftentimes it's because I didn't get fat. So I'll do something like I'll make like a steak with grass-fed butter or something. Yeah,
dude, that's so good. What how long did it take for you to go from where you were to where you are now, weight-wise?
The whole process was probably like 2 or 3 years. Something.
Oh wow!
It was a longer process. It wasn't like the biggest weight loss I had was like 60 pounds, and like I said, like it was like 3 to 5 months. Like I had that was kind of the last push when I got really committed to eating the same things and meal prepping and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it just takes time, and I think that has taught me to live a more balanced life as opposed to like these crash diets, because most people who lose that much weight don't keep it off. Yeah. And I know when I went through that really committed phase of being on the slow carb diet, I went off the rails for a little bit where I was all of a sudden I just was eating candy and all this stuff. But now my everything's pretty balanced. Like I think people want to lose weight so quick, but you have to look at the long run and say like, is this going to be something I'm committed to for a year or 6 months? Or is this something I want to do for the rest of my life? And if it's something you want to do for the rest of your life, you have to find balance of treating yourself, eating some bad things every once in a while, but also eating majority of your foods like healthy,
Yeah. You led into it, but that's kind of where I was going for the next thing I was going to ask you is, based on the people that you talk to that like know your story or whatever, seen you go through what you have and are like trying to lose weight themselves, how much does it come up in the conversation where they're talking about the diets that they tried and like the time duration that they've been on them? Do you ever hear anyone that hasn't had any results that have been talking like, oh, I've been like eating all these vegetables and drinking all this water for like, I don't know, 3 years and like I'm still 300 pounds?
Yeah,
like what's
no, never. So here's the big thing. I think most people aren't honest with themselves about how committed they are or what they're actually doing. I think the biggest thing is like most people know how to eat healthy, but they try to they have this cognitive dissonance of like what they know, or I don't know, how do I eat? It's like how to eat healthy, eat real. Everyone knows, but they claim ignorance, Yeah. It's like a defense mechanism. And another thing, I think people reward themselves too often is the big thing too. Like, oh, I worked out for an hour today so I can eat like garbage and it won't be a problem. I'll use a guy at Jiu-Jitsu, I won't say his name as an example, but he lost some weight from Jiu-Jitsu and I would always ask him when he would come in, like, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. What's your diet like? And he ate relatively okay, throughout the day, but one day he told me, I just can't seem to keep losing weight. I think I need to go on a cleanse or something like that. I've stayed at this weight, and then I found out every time after training, it may have been every night, his treat was thing of chocolate milk at night.
Oh, wow.
And I think he would drink some sodas. And it's like, dude, that's your problem. Like, you're drinking chocolate milk every night. How do you expect to lose any weight? I don't know if I answered your question or not, but
yeah, that's pretty much. I didn't know, because I have a feeling that most people just try, low carb diet for 3 or 4 weeks, and then they're like,
dude, I don't even think it's that. I think most people try it for like 3 days, and they don't see results, and they stop. I think that's the majority of people. And I know how it feels. You feel like you're stuck in a hole, but you got to get out somehow, and it's slow. It's gonna be a slow process, but it's fucking rewarding,
Yeah, I kind of disagree with you on the part where you think that people like know how to eat healthy and stuff, because before, like, I got into juice, I had like no idea. Like, I didn't know, because whenever I was younger, like, most of the food I ate when I was younger was potato chips, cereal, like Kellogg's cereal. I did drink a good amount of water, but I drank a lot of Coke, a lot of Burger King, a lot of Wendy's, and like, it took a long time before it took me well into my 20s before I understood that, like, food is fuel for my body, and it helps me feel better than if I, like, don't pay attention to what I'm eating. And like, the things that you get taught in school, I couldn't even tell you anything that I have implemented from high school or any middle school health class that pertains to my diet.
Actually, yeah. So you saying that makes me, I think people maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's so here's the thing. When I first started losing weight, the biggest thing I did was educate myself. I got obsessed with learning about nutrition and different things. A good resource is reddit.com/r/fitness, the fitness section of Reddit. They've got all sorts of informational stuff on there, and people post inspirational progress and stuff. But I learned about what a calorie was, and that calories can either be 3 things: fat, protein, or carbs. And maybe just educating myself was probably a big change that helped me, for sure. So I think people are aware of what is healthy and what they should or shouldn't do, but if they just educated themselves on some of these ingredients and nutrients and different things, it would help a ton. But they don't teach that crap in school.
No.
I took a health class in high school. I mean, the only thing I remember was the sex ed part.
I just remember my teacher had a glass eye.
I'm pretty sure my teacher banged a student.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so this is kind of a little sidetrack, but there was like a rumor going around that he fooled around with a student. Mm-hmm. And one day in class, he announced that
the sexiest student in the class was.
No, he announced, he said, all right, guys, there's a lot of rumors that have been going around. What this rumor was almost like a social experiment that we spread this rumor ourselves to see how fast it got around. But I'm pretty sure that was him just covering up.
That's such a backfire. It's the worst excuse I've ever heard. That would work on high school kids, though.
Yeah, I believed it. I was like, because I didn't even hear the rumor, but later on, I found out like he ended up getting fired for it or something.
Oh, Jesus.
And then I remembered that day where because he didn't go into the details of what the rumor was. He just said there's a rumor going around about me, and me and some teachers or whatever spread this rumor to see. Whoa, it's pretty weird.
Oh, man.
So anyways.
Oh, I got a fun nutrition fact for you. So whenever I went to Atlanta last week or whatever it was for that concert, and it got canceled, we went to the Bodies exhibit. For those of you that don't know, it's a bunch of cadavers from like Chinese POW camps or whatever, and they're all preserved, and they're in different, they're actually like out in the open and stuff, and they're dissected in different ways of like how they're moving and stuff. You can see lungs, fetuses, the actual whole corpses where they have like certain muscular tissues like torn away. You can see how he's throwing a baseball. You can see they're
like hanging from the ceiling, right? Or
no, they're not like.
Oh, I thought there was some. Or something.
No,
I thought I saw pictures.
They're like on like platforms and stuff,
but they're not covered at all, or anything?
No, dude. No.
That's crazy.
You can sit. I can be as close as we're sitting right now.
You could touch it, essentially.
Yeah,
Ugh.
It's kind of cool. Well, it's kind of funny. You go around. They like all of them like still have like the skin around where their butthole was.
Oh, so that's really?
Like, yeah, that's like that, I don't know. I don't know why I think that's funny, but every time I'd look at one, I'd go around to the back and see their little butthole flap.
What about their junk, like penises?
Oh, there's penises. Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Who was hung the most?
There was like one hog that like a couple of guys I felt bad for. But one of them, dude, had a. Okay, this is off track from what I was gonna say, but I'll just say.
Just remember what you're gonna say.
Yeah, one dude like had a hernia, or something like that. Like there's this Rain Man motherfucker there that worked the exhibit or something. Yeah. He was like fat, and he looked like what's that dude that does the documentary? He looked like Michael Moore.
Oh yeah, Michael.
Yeah, Moore. He's coming around. You could see here, this guy's thing. He looked like he had a hernia, blah blah blah, and his like testicles like all the way up inside him and stuff. And dude, it was weird looking. But anyway, after I heard Michael Moore talking about that dude's hernia on that wall right there by that actual thing, there was two signs, and one of them said to gain a pound in, I forgot how long it was. I think it was just a pound in general, that you had to have an excess of 3,500 calories.
Yeah.
And to burn a pound, you have to have a deficit of 3,500 calories.
Right.
And that's
you didn't know that?
No.
Oh,
I didn't know that. And that's a ton of calories. That's a lot.
Yeah, so
of work.
The standard thing is if you want to lose weight at a healthy pace, I mean, some people can up it more than usual, especially depending on where your weight's at, but the standard deficit is eat a deficit of 500 calories per day for a week, and you'll lose a pound a week, because that's 500 times 7 is 3,500. Same for gaining weight. But that was something I learned just from researching the diet and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. I didn't know that. That's a big number.
If you want, I don't track my calories. I will occasionally, but the best app to track your calories is MyFitnessPal on the iPhone. You can scan barcodes, all that stuff. It's great if you want to track your calories, which I think everyone should do for a period of time. Just to, once you do it, you can kind of eyeball stuff pretty well, and you just learn like. An egg has, I think it's 60 or 70 calories and 8 grams of protein or something like that. And a banana is this many calories. So it's good to get an idea.
I tried to use that thing one time. It was just too much.
Yeah, it gets a little annoying, but yeah, whatever. All right. Anything else we want to say before? Oh, one thing I wanted to ask you, if you even think about it, because I know when I was working at the Jiu-Jitsu school, or even now, I mean, people ask me all the time, like, so you got to train, how early, what do you eat before training, and how much of a time frame do you give yourself? Or is it even something you think about?
Yeah, I do, because it does have an effect on you. I try to eat something that's not going to be a huge meal. If I'm going to eat within an hour or two, between 0 hours and 2 hours from training, if I eat Chipotle 2 hours from training, so slow, I taste it in my burps, that kind of thing. If anything, I'll try to have one of those cacao whey protein bars or something from Whole Foods, or something light like beans, or like a little serving of beans, or a small salad with chicken, like nothing big for sure.
See, I'm weird. I can typically eat. Like, as long as it's not a huge meal or something, I can eat like an hour before training, or I can drink coffee right before training, stuff like, which I know gives some people problems, but it doesn't affect me. But something to think about is things like fats, even if it's healthy fats, those are digested slower. So eating a big fatty meal before training is probably not advisable. If you're not limiting your carbs, eating something like the Cliff Bars, like the oatmeal Cliff Bars, something like that. You can get away with eating that like an hour or two before training. You're fine. Or something I used to do is just take scoops of peanut butter over a banana, just eat it like that. But I know it's a big question that comes up is like what to eat before training.
Yeah, I think as long as it's small, you're most likely going to be okay. Just something to get rid of the rumble in your stomach.
Yeah, and everyone's different. Some people can't eat anything 3-4 hours before, you know. But just the big part of nutrition and all this stuff is like learning your body. Everyone's body's different. Like things like tracking your weight throughout the day and different things like that helps you learn your body chemistry and what works well for you and what doesn't work well for you. So if someone gives you a piece of advice, try it and see if it works for you. It may not work for you, you know?
Yeah, I think that's a good one too, especially for those people trying to cut weight and stuff. Month or two in advance, you should be looking at like what you go to bed at, what you wake up at, you know, what you weigh in the middle of the day. What happens if I, you know, doing some water dehydration techniques and tracking it in off season, like not before the, like, you know, like I said, 2 months before the competition, just to see like how you do at manipulating your water and like training on it too, and seeing how you feel when you manipulate your water and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a good point to like even see like, okay, my division goes at 2:00. Okay, I usually don't train at 2:00, so you know, seeing how you feel at that time, maybe go for a run around 2:00 just to see how your body feels. You know, you know, and also people say, what should I eat before a competition? What do you eat before you train? Yeah. You know, same thing. You should know what you can work with and what works well for you. So anything else? It's good.
Yeah, I think I got it all.
Follow us on Instagram at BrainRoot. Also go to letyourbrainroot.com. Rate and review the podcast. Subscribe. Holla at us. You can follow Jordan at
Jew Jordan on Instagram. Jordan Evans on Facebook. If you guys got somebody that's legit, like a real good black belt or something, like shoot us an email with their email or like have them holler at us. Like we want some guests. We've been trying to get some more guests on for you guys, but we need some recommendations and some good people to talk to. Yeah.
So you can email us at letyourbrainroot.com@gmail.com. Also, if you have any questions, fan questions or anything like that, or any even if it's not a guest, but a suggestion of a topic you'd like us to go over, shoot us an email. We'd be happy to do it. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. See ya.